The Germans are coming, the Germans are coming. Today I'm going to talk about two of the greatest German thinkers of all time and what they mean to our lives today in the countries we live. Hello everyone, today I want to talk about my two main German homeboys. You know, quite often we talk about Germany, we focus so much on World War I and World War II, which are tragic events, but ultimately what's interesting about the collective consciousness, wherever there's a thorn, there's a rose. And two of the roses we're lucky to have from Germany are Nietzsche and Heidegger, Martin Heidegger and Friedrich Nietzsche. These two homies really thought about what is best for humanity, and some of their work teaches us valuable lessons, especially today. So, Nietzsche was born in 1844 and died in 1900. He's most famous, and you might know my homie through the quote, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger," which was taken from one of his works, one of his novels. So, you might not have heard of Nietzsche, but you definitely would have heard, "What does not kill you makes you stronger." Martin Heidegger, 1888 to 1976. You know, you might have heard his famous quote, "Man acts as though he was the shaper and master of language, while in fact language remains the master of man." What Heidegger understood is that language is such a poor replacement for real living in the moment. And I want to go through these two individuals and what they really taught us. But first, I just want to let you know that from my personal perspective, geez, the more I learn about German, Dutch, Indian, Chinese, Japanese philosophers, I've realised that the curriculum we get at high school, especially in the Western country like Australia, is so skewed towards the cultural beliefs of that country. There is so much great content, and I challenge you to go out and find this incredible content that's there waiting for you that doesn't quite fit in with capitalism, because it's all about making you a better human, it's got nothing to sell you, is really, really important. Because I tell you what, I wish I was introducing Nietzsche or Heidegger at that level. And that's why self-development and reading your own books and not worrying about getting a proper qualified education is so important. Because even when I had done my masters, even when I was studying at university, it was such a small sliver of what's really out there. It's really important to go wider. So I want to start talking about Heidegger. So Heidegger was born in Meschkirch, Germany, and his most complex writing, Being in Time, was his major work. Now Heidegger was I love the dude, but he wrote very complex work, so I'm really glad I can boil this down for you the best I can, because the dude was like so smart, you can see it in his writing. So, das Sein, which means being, is a major concept through all of Heidegger's work. So the concept is we have forgotten to be alive. We don't know what being is because we're so caught up in our day-to-day tasks. We rarely just stare at our hand and look at the incredible complexities of the skin, how blood is flowing to every single cell. And that being is what we're here to do. Number two, hiding from the nothing. Das Nichts, right? The nothing. So Heidegger understands that, interestingly, while we forget that we're alive, quite often we forget that we'll also die. And when we do, we hide it. So we put people in boxes and bury them in cemeteries, and we don't want anything to do with death. And what we do is we're simply perpetuating the problem with not accepting das Sein, being alive, because we're forgetting about death. Number three, forgetting total connection. So Heidegger was all about walks in nature. He was a big fan of just stopping, and you know, this is incredible insight, stopping in a park and noticing that the tree, the cloud, the ladybird and the grass and the air going through your lungs have something in common with you. They are all existing exactly at this moment in connection with you. They are joined with you in this moment which is one small moment out of 14 billion years of the universe's history. They're there with you, they're your homeboys, they're there, you are connected, you're with them. And when you think like that, the ego dissolves and you really do, not intellectually, but experientially witness that. He also talks about the existentialist movement, which Heidegger was a grandfather of. He also talks about total freedom. He understands that sometimes you're born into a family, into a caste, into a country, but ultimately you have revolutionary, radical freedom. And you, even when you're in jail and you're going to be executed the next day, you can choose whether you take your life the day before. You have that much freedom. We don't like to think like that. We like to think that, poor us, the way things are, there's nothing we can do about it. I'm going to murder this word, but I don't care. Eigenelectric that's, you know what, that wouldn't be any of the pronunciation of my German friends, you know. Please send me an email if I got it wrong. But authenticity and inauthenticity, this was critical. This is huge. Now, Zen had this covered 1,000 years ago, but from Western thought, Heidegger nailed this. He believes that when you act inauthentically, outside of your true nature, scheming and striving and doing things that, you know, aren't the best interest of you or others, it's just the biggest waste of time in the world, because you're not drawing your true power, your authenticity. He in fact said there was the idea of being a Superman, which is the concept that you act authentically. That's all you need to do to be a Superman, is act authentically. You hear me talk about that all the time. Being shaped by the chatter, das Gehörte. Chatter. Oh, this concept is huge, and this guy nailed this, you know, 100 years ago, really. Oh, it's 50 years ago. Chatter. What is chatter? Chatter is your cultural memes. It's the cultural conversation that gives you your belief systems. It's the Fox News, it's the newspapers, it's the social media banter. And what he believes is that this chatter is unnecessary. It's simply a collection of voices, but has nothing to do with your voice. And don't listen to the chatter. You've heard me talk about not listening to the media, not because I've got a problem with the media, but you must live your life from your truth. It was once said that any truth that is not your truth is untrue. Direct experience, not chatter, will make you happy. Chatter will just make you think about what you don't have and problems that don't affect you. Finally, das Nix, the nothing. The advice from Heidegger in our lives is remember that. Remembering death allows us to make better choices. You're not going to put off that holiday indefinitely and never finally go to Spain or France or Italy when you realise that das Nix is coming. And when you realise that nothing is coming, that death is coming, ultimately you'll make the right decisions. Heidegger, peace, much love to you. I can't forget Nietzsche. Nietzsche, which, you know, to help with the pronunciation, just Nietzsche, like cha-cha and your knee, because the way it's spelled for Western audiences is hard to pronounce, but Nietzsche, his amazing work was Beyond Good and Evil. And his most famous statement was, and this is ballsy, because this dude said this when the Catholic Church, or the Church, was still very powerful. He said, God is dead. He put out, you know, his philosophy is God is dead. What he was saying from that perspective is the concept, the construct of God, which is the thought, the belief system that humans had created to help them make sense of the world, is dead. People don't believe it anymore. He went to cafes, he realised they were atheists, he realised that the man on the street just wasn't buying this anymore. And he made the pronouncement that God is dead. What else did he do? Well, he created what Heidegger also spoke about, is the Übermensch, the Superman. So everyday Superman, how you can become a Superman just by living authentically and doing the right things day to day. He also taught us to own up to envy. He talks quite often about envy and how envy can be used as good. He sees envy as looking into someone else's eyes and seeing something that they have that you would like to become. For example, you might envy someone's amazing body. So rather than being envious, acknowledge what it is, the want to have what they have, and work on yourself to become the best version of all the people you interact with. His other piece of advice, don't be a Christian. So he wasn't such a hater of Christianity. He was more of a hater of what he called die Herde, the herd, which is the herd mentality, similar like the chatter that Heidegger would talk about. And he believed that Christianity was just the latest group of herding people. You know, you told them what they wanted to hear, that they want to get an afterlife, and everyone went along with it. And he believed it was really toxic, because he believed that a lot of people weren't living their true lives in lieu of this afterlife they knew nothing about. One of the other things that Nietzsche was incredibly, you know, big on was never drinking alcohol. Now, I don't think that was because he didn't like the taste of alcohol. He believed that pain should always be experienced and never numbed. He believed that every time you numb pain, you're doomed to experience it again. And what he noticed around him, and to be frank, it's what I noticed in my life, is a lot of people drink to forget the pain. It's a pain relief. That's what it does. It stops you thinking about pain. It stops the thoughts. But ultimately, continually drinking or using drugs in order to get away from these situations just keeps prolonging them. And finally, the concept that pain is good. What does not kill you only makes you strong. And Nietzsche was so big on knowing that pain is in life. This concept of thinking there's no pain in life is ridiculous. Embrace it. Let it sit with you. And when it sits with you, it will heal you in a way that's very important. Heidegger and Nietzsche, people that we really need to put into high self-esteem. You hear me say it all the time, is tell me one actor from 100 years ago. Apart from John Wilkes Booth, who killed Abraham Lincoln, you can't tell me an actor from over 100 years ago. And why? Because 100 years ago, Nietzsche and my homeboy Heidegger were the big deals. They were the Kanye West, the Kim Kardashians of the world. Wouldn't it be nice if we brought these guys back to the podium and maybe worried less about reality superstars? Something to think about. I'll see you tomorrow.